Welcome to the Hair Loss Show. Dr. Russell Knudsen and Dr. Vikram Jayaprakash discuss issues relating to hair loss and the medical and surgical treatment of hair loss in both men and women.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Hair Loss Show. I'm Dr. Russell Knudsen.
And I'm Dr. Vikram Jayaprakash. And welcome back to today's episode. Thanks again for watching. We really appreciate your feedback and your support. One of the things that we're really grateful is the commentary that we're getting back. And if you could do us a favor, we'd really like to get to that mark of 100,000 subscribers. It's
unbelievable. We've been going less than 4 years. We're at 95,000 subscribers and we're about at close to 12.5 million views, which says that there's a lot of people out there looking for credible information about hair loss.
When we started, I remember thinking we're going to have to ask our staff to subscribe just to get this
to get to 100.
just to get the numbers up. But we're really overwhelmed by the support and the commentary that you've had. So thank you again for watching. Please remember to keep the questions coming. But if you can, we'd like to get over that 100,000 mark. So if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button.
All right. So today's topic is chemotherapy and hair loss. Now, this is a very specific topic because a lot of chemotherapy that's used for invasive cancers in people attack the rapidly dividing cells in the body, which often are either bone marrow, for example, the cancer cells themselves, or, believe it or not, the other very, very active dividing cells in the body, hair cells. So it is not surprising that a lot of chemotherapy causes significant, usually temporary hair loss. Sadly, not always temporary. So there's about 10% of patients who have chemotherapy for these serious conditions and they lose most, if not all, of their scalp hair. But there's a small percentage of them where it just doesn't fully grow back, it just partly grows back, and that's pretty devastating to the patient. And it's kind of hard for us to work out how we would manage that.
Yeah.
But there is a very specific treatment for it that you do at the time of the chemotherapy, but it has to be very specific. So for years now, people have known that cooling the scalp to reduce the amount of activity in the hair follicle and the amount of circulation of blood in the hair follicle would be of some benefit, and there are devices, home use devices that you can buy that look like bicycle helmets with gels in them and stuff. But the recent research is quite specific, that it is critically important that you get the temperature right on the scalp when you do it. And if the ambient temperature is in the 20s to 30s, it's not going to do it. So the critical number turns out to be, if you can do scalp cooling, you have to get the scalp to 18 degrees Celsius. Okay? And to do that, you use a device that is a commercial device. It's not something you're going to have for home use. But the good news is that this device has been around now. It's a Paxman device. It's been around for a number of years now, and the major chemotherapy or cancer centres attached to the hospital systems have them. So, for example, in Sydney, where I live, there's 6 scattered around Sydney. So they're not rare to find, but this is, if you are one of these terribly unfortunate individuals that's suffered hair loss or is going to have chemotherapy and is worried about hair loss, then you need to do a little bit of research with your cancer therapy and say, well, okay, do you have one of these scalp cooling devices that can get my scalp down to 18 degrees Celsius? Because that is very helpful in preventing the hair loss during.
So you need to go, at the time of chemotherapy, you need to go to one of these centres. It's a device
part of the integrated treatment, if you like.
Yes.
And so there is an answer for people that have to go undergo chemotherapy, but don't be thinking that it's an easy thing where you can just buy something from the internet and it's going to work. There's a very critical number. The low 20s doesn't work. It has to be 18 degrees Celsius, or it's not going to work.
Yeah, so don't buy sort of gel packs or ice packs and put it on the scalp. You don't want to result in a freeze, a cold burn as well. Sure. So you've got to be careful about all these things. So again, one of these devices that is very, controls the temperature meticulously, and you're under that for a prescribed amount of time. At a prescribed, intervals.
That's right. There's a protocol for it, and you have to do it under specialist medical care.
Yeah. So I think that's, obviously, as you said, it's just absolute, having to go through chemotherapy, I can only imagine, is just devastating, having to lose the hair and the confidence associated with that. It's another layer on top of the things. And so just hopefully this will give some people some information that they can use to try and hopefully mitigate some of that hair loss.
So I hope that's been helpful to you, and thank you very much for watching and sending the questions in. Please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks very much.
Bye.